And it was an intuition, and I don't think I could go back and say for sure that it was because my sexuality was this and everyone else was that. It was that there wasn't a culture of, oh, hey, a new person, let's welcome them and get to know their idiosyncrasies and their quirks. It was, do you fit in an environment that's hyper masculine where people are trying to act 5 years older than their age in the wrong way instead of the right way? I think that's a big challenge to get more people involved in hockey at a young age. My name is Matt, 27 years old. I live in New York City and I was raised on Long Island, so the suburbs right around the city. I work in tech, which is a very trendy thing for a 27-year-old in New York to say. And I've been a hockey fan for almost 20 years now.
How did you get into hockey?
Uh, so it sounds kind of cheesy, but I remember one day just kind of channel surfing and finding an Islander game on TV. And something about it caught my eye. I think up to that point, I'd really only ever seen baseball and basketball and didn't really fall in love with any of those sports. But something about hockey, the combination of skill and tactics and energy and excitement just kind of sucked me in.
And what do you love about the sport?
Uh, I think it's underrated what a combination of skill and also strategy it is. I think it gets a bad rep for, oh, a bunch of, no offense anyone, angry Canadians with no teeth beating each other up. And that can be what SportsCenter likes to show, but there's so much mental game and so much awareness and so much strategy that people don't talk about enough.
Based off of your intersection of identities, how could hockey be better for you? And also, how could it be better for the queer community as a whole?
Yeah, so I remember learning to skate at the age of about 9 or 10. And I felt like I was picking it up pretty quickly. And then the question came of, do I want to take hockey lessons and become a hockey player? And that next step scared me, and it scared me a lot. I couldn't really put my finger on why it scared me, but it seemed like a hockey team and a hockey locker room at the time was not a place that I belonged. And it was an intuition, and I don't think I could go back and say for sure that it was because my sexuality was this and everyone else was that. It was that there wasn't a culture of, oh, hey, a new person, let's welcome them and get to know their idiosyncrasies and their quirks. It was, do you fit in an environment that's hyper masculine where people are trying to act 5 years older than their age in the wrong way instead of the right way? I think that's a big challenge to get more people involved in hockey at a young age.
Totally. There's a culture that people conform and adhere to, even if it's not who they are. And it's really interesting because I've lived all over the world playing this sport, and it happens everywhere the same way, which is very bizarre. Knowing what the culture is, what keeps you in hockey?
I like being a part of a hockey community with my own quirks. And I guess I feel this way about all the communities I find myself in. I'm Jewish, I'm gay, I'm a hockey fan. I like being involved in each of those spaces with my own idiosyncrasies. So to each of those communities, I bring different things, and sometimes it's really welcomed and sometimes it's a little edgy. But I like being there with my own uniqueness and then finding people who appreciate that uniqueness. That's kind of how I made my closest friendships up to this point.
That's super cool. What gives you hope for queer people in the sport moving forward?
This. I've over the last couple of years, I started following more Instagram accounts like yours, and Curtis Gabriel's doing unbelievable work, and potato topic is a controversy we won't touch for today. Seeing the visibility.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna. Yeah. Seeing the visibility that's so many miles ahead of where it used to be, seeing the people having these conversations, having the NHL pick up on what you and Curtis are posting as much as they still have room to get better and improve. Just looking at that compared to where we might have been 5 years ago, I think the trajectory is the right start. And I think from there, we just keep pushing.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I know it feels difficult in the moment, and I wish I could go back and tell myself this because I could have used my own advice. But everyone else is going to project their insecurities on you unless you stand up for yourself. So whether it's in the locker room, whether it's in a new group of people, whether you're trying to fit into a new group, everyone's doing what they're doing from a place of pure insecurity. And when you come in knowing that, and you kind of have that it's kind of like a cheat sheet. You come into a situation knowing that everyone's doing this not because they're powerful or not because they actually have authority, because they're scared. They're scared and they're paranoid and they're afraid they're going to be the one under the bus, quote unquote, and so they throw someone else under the bus first. I think when you come into a situation where you're aware of that, your next best decision can be that much more informed, whether it's, do I stick with this or not? Who do I ally myself with? Who in this group seems to understand me the best? You come in with a little cheat sheet of knowing what's actually going on in people's heads, and you're in a much better place to go after what you actually want to get instead of just being derailed by everyone else.
Couldn't agree more. And it gives you a different perspective on how you look at life and people, and it's not about you, it's about them.
It's about them.
Matt, I want to thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being in the hockey space. Thank you for taking up space in it so that it becomes more queer and becomes more gay and at least more queer friendly. So thank you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Brock. I appreciate this.